Alright, this is my father's Black & Decker 6-inch heavy-duty bench grinder. I found it through the Vintage Tool and Machinery catalog in a Black & Decker catalog from 1936. So I'm not saying that's the year this was made, but this model existed at that period. So anyway, it's bound to be pretty old. There's no plastic on it, but you can tell from the cap that the thing's bound to be pretty old, and that's what's happening here. Is you turn the switch on and it just grinds, which is indicative of the capacitor being bad. So normally you go out and grab a multimeter and you can test for capacitance with a decent multimeter. So anyways, started digging through my pile of multimeters, and what you're looking for, which is, and get a screwdriver. The little section there where it has the straight line and the curved line, don't pay attention to that audio thing above the omega symbol. But the straight line and then that little curved line, that's the capacitance reading. That's on my little Unity grinder here, or multimeter. So anyway, when I test a good capacitor, this is so hard to do. Quit shaking. Anyway, it'll reset to 7.56 microfarad, which it's a 7.5. So I know that this meter's testing correctly, and then when I go to test across here, I just get all sorts of bullshit readings. It just goes haywire. And then when I get it to touch, anyway, it just doesn't give me any decent readings or anything to work from. So what I've got to do now is go in and try to figure out what size capacitor to use for this. And then from what I've read, you use approximately 100 microfarad per horsepower. So this is the third horsepower. So 30 microfarad, maybe go 50, just to be cautious. I'm not really sure what going over the problem is. If I come across that literature and figure out why you'd prefer to go over or to go under size on the capacitance size, I'll let you know. But anyway, the machine is in pretty good shape, and the bearings sound good. I don't think I want to break her down or do any of that stuff. But for those of you who've watched my other videos, you know how things get out of hand sometimes. If I find any more problems, I will delve deeper into it. But in the near term, I'm going to work on the capacitor first, and try to find a good oxide wheel for this side. And I think my dad likes the buffer on that side, so I'll keep that on there. And then anyway, I'll bring you back later on when I get a better grasp of this capacitor issue. All right, I get to skip the reading on the microfarad literature. You're probably not gonna be able to see that. This is a Aerovox capacitor. It's a 72 to 87 microfarad, 110 volt capacitor. So I'm gonna see if I can find some sort of a modern day equivalent to this. And I'm not too worried about the dimensions if they don't fit in the. Initially, it had a little captive device there to hold it. If not, I'll fabricate something else. But anyway, I'm super happy to find that. So I'm going to go order one. So I was able to find the 72 to 87 microfarad capacitor on Amazon for this. I think it's like $12 or something. And then I ordered a new grinding wheel for this. The bearings sound pretty good in this, I guess. I mean, I don't hear any unnecessary grinding or rattling or anything, I think. So anyway, what I'm going to do is just clean this up and see how she looks after that. And I've got to wait till Thursday or Friday before the part comes in. So we'll clean it up, and if this thing looks pretty good, then we'll just slap a capacitor in it and we'll be done. So I'll bring you back in a week to show you what a new one looks like. Alright, so I'm right in the middle of the range there with the 72 to 87 microfarads at 78. So the wire that was in here was a little small. The plug wire, it was slightly smaller than the wires that came with it. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that with a plug that I cut off of a vacuum cleaner that was out at the garbage one day. So anyway, I'm going to replace that and bring you back when it's running. So I have it all back together now. The old cloth wires, what came with the motor, and they seem to be in pretty good shape. I wouldn't really dare to move or try to replace those or anything. It fired right up, really smooth. When it's all assembled, I'll give you another shot of it. But in the near term, I'm going to just show you that I used regular terminals to connect into it. The initial one was soldered, and I don't think that was absolutely necessary because the vibration shouldn't be that extreme with this, so it shouldn't rattle off. And those are not the cheap Harbor Freight shitty connectors. Those are actually, I think they're 3M brand or whatever. But they should be alright. And anyway, that's it for now. I'll bring you back when it's all done. Alright, it's all back together now. I wiped it out with some Super Purple before, and then I used some of this Johnson's paste wax on the outside. It does a pretty good job with tools to keep the rust away. I'm down in South Florida, so it's like 100% humidity all the time. But anyway, new capacitors in it. I haven't dressed the wheel or anything, and not really set on the table right, but super smooth. It should last another 100 years. So anyway, thanks for watching.